Hey, how's it going, everybody? Rocky Harpins here with eSPEED Racing, getting ready for the setup, uh, build tutorial guide, whatever the heck you want to call it, for Sea Open this week. The track too tough to tame, Darlington. It's gonna be interesting. I've got about 10 hours of setup building in already yesterday, so this might be a little more reluctant of a setup tutorial than anything. So we'll try and get you guys up and going and everything like that. So again, to get in, you want to hit Go Racing, go to current series. One cool thing I want to point out. So if you think that grid is a little too overwhelming in the UI as far as all the different series and stuff like that. One cool thing that you can do is actually favorite the series. Say let's we want to favorite this Ferrari GT3 series. Uh then what you can do, you can just hit that star up in the right hand corner and it'll only bring up your favorited series. See, we have Ferrari right there. But that's a quick and easy way to organize, what and focus on what you want to run. So for us, we want to run not C fixed out here, C open. Again, what we're going to want to do is jump down to schedule Darlington this week and C open. It's a night race, basically 85 laps. Track is very difficult. So if you've never driven here before, my first thing is, man, you got to run some laps. That's going to be your biggest thing. It is a difficult track to figure out. The Darlington stripe, you're going to get them. You want to try and keep it out of the wall as much as possible, but it's almost inevitable. So as you can see, it is a very distinct shape. It's been on the circuit since 1950. Uh, 1 and 2, high speed corner. 3 and 4, very low speed corner. So you are basically full throttle through 1 and 2. You bring it through 3 and 4, and then you gotta woe it down. So very difficult track. You kind of have to tell what the truck is doing if it's tightening up, and adjust your driving style all the way throughout the run. It's very, very important because this place is a track that will chew you out and chew you up and spit you out. So very interesting place to run. All right, we are gonna jump in. I'm just gonna run some laps in my setup to kind of show you guys lines and stuff like that, and then we're gonna jump right into setup building. So what seems to be a good 28.4, 28.5 is a good lap here. The one thing I would say is to tire management, keep the truck clean. You're gonna have a good run because this place does breed a lot of cautions, or a lot of people will hit the wall, destroy their truck and everything like that. So it's gonna be more about how well you can manage this place and survive than anything. So entering into one, enter in high, make a late apex in. Cold tires, I'm gonna lift a little bit here, but typically you can full throttle, drop it back down through 2. And then right about the safer barrier, you want to stay on the high side again. It's progressively banked, so as close as you to the wall, the better. A lot of people are scared of that though, but that's going to be how you get around here fast. Again, you want to get as high as possible. That's probably a little bit too high. You want to stay with the rubber as much as possible. Follow that along there. And kind of push it back down on exit. I like to say that Darlington is a place where you can see your own fate. If you feel like you're tight going through that high speed corner and you keep your foot in it, you're going to push off on exit and really witness your own death. So it's something to be cognizant about and kind of drive through as much as possible. There's a 28.5. So yeah, again, Just kind of get it up to that high part of the rubber. You don't want to get outside of that because that's when you get into the marbles and you'll just kind of drift up into that wall. All right. Let's jump into setup building. Oh, first I got to show off something. There you go. The new eSPEED racing parts truck. So tonight we're doing a Road to Pro prep race. Let's find a good shot of it. There we go. So yeah, for Road to Pro, we are doing a prep race tonight, Sunday night, where we're all running throwback schemes. So mine is the Ron Hornaday inspired Napa truck. Always been a big fan of Ron Hornaday. So we got the eSPEED racing parts and all that stuff on that. So that's what we're running tonight. Let's jump in. We'll grab the Darlington open setup. We're going to make some adjustments right off the bat. For one, I think the air pressure is way too low on the left side, too much forward ballast, too much nose weight, probably a little too high across weight. And then some other little things here and there that we're gonna do that's gonna help us pick up a bunch of speed. So, um, you know what? Let's give it a run first. Kind of take 10 laps, see how she handles before I completely tear this thing apart. Again, this setup, I'm not 100% expert. You know, I just like to play with these things, show you what I know. Not the best driver, so you'll probably go faster than me by the end of this, but just want to give you guys a good baseline to kind of work with and kind of show you some of the setup stuff that's involved. Whoa! Very loose on throttle. Truck wants to definitely push around there, so we'll try to put 10 laps in. I mean, already not a terrible lap, but not a great lap. These open setups are a better baseline to work with than what iRacing previously provided, so that's always good, but still need a little bit of work and stuff to get them up to snuff. Feel like I really have to manage the throttle through 1 and 2. A lot of that has to do with the really low air pressures that we're running. We're gonna do this in a little quicker click, so we're gonna do just about 5 laps and kind of look at it and talk about it. And then you guys can do some more longer run stuff. Like I said, the biggest thing with this track is learning how to drive it more than anything. All right, that should be our 5. Kind of look at some of the info here. So it's actually running tire wear looks loose, but tire temps look tight. So running about 222 versus 215 as far as the front to rear tire wear. Also really hot left rear. So this indication of temperatures versus here, this shows that it's a little bit tight, but I would tell you on throttle, it's can get this thing definitely loosened up. So we are gonna go to play with this. Let's record our info real quick on our little spreadsheet. We'll open it up to 10 laps once we get a little something a little more manageable out there. Let's see what's best place here. But yeah, you don't want to base everything off of 5 lap runs. You definitely want to build for the long run, but got quite a bit to work through. A little faster click with this video uh, than what we previously have done. Okay, so what we're going to be working with here. Let's see. That. The one cool thing, if you guys are interested, I don't get any money or anything like that off them, but I use Racing Labs for a lot of my overlays and stuff like that, and uh, inputs or my input telemetry and those good things. This is a nifty little throttle brake steering sensor uh, that you can kind of keep track of your stuff. So let's jump into doing some adjustments on this. So it feels like the pressures are really, really low. We're going to take them up to what I typically run as a base. So 28 on the left front, 26.5 on the left rear. We're going to take this back down to the minimums, everything like that. Couple things I noticed. So we are appears to be a little bit on the tighter side, so we can make an adjustment there. It looks like they've built in a big spring split, which statically this is a very tight setup, but then they compensate that with a big split in the rear springs as well as in the track bar. The only issue with that is the soft left rear, a little bit softer right rear. Not, I mean, that's still really stiff spring, but what it's doing in the corner is it's causing it to kind of shift the rear of the truck, and that's where you can kind of see like I had to get in and out of the throttle. So we want this a little bit stiffer in the rear, so we're going to go ahead and bump these up. We're also going to change the ride height significantly because they tend to run a lot of rear rake in this, which that's a lot of downforce, but that's also uh, uh, like a parachute on the back of this truck. So we're gonna go ahead and adjust for that here momentarily. 5/16 on the front bar, link slack, that's fine. That's gonna help with the some of that nose pop. 2 asymmetry, that's gonna help with the cut in. We'll leave it at a 2 front bar. All of those look good. I'm gonna go ahead and change the steering offset to what I like. Tape here, you can run about 65%. But take it out, run about 15 laps to make sure nothing's blinking. If nothing's blinking, you might be able to go up or you might be able to go down. So, with this being a night race, you're actually running a little higher speed, so you might have to go down with the tape. Versus if you're running Road to Pro, that's a day race. You might be, or you should be able to get away with 65% per easily. All right, so to make some serious adjustments here, get our ride heights back in. We're going to want to max out our rear cambers. Like for now, we can get away with 1.9. We're not going to mess with the front cambers because as we adjust our ride heights, that changes our cambers. So we'll change those last. Same with cambers and toes. Let's go ahead and take our ballast back. I feel like 8 inches is pretty standard for any of our 1 or a mile and over tracks. Anything that's high speed, I typically run about 8 inches of camber. We're going to try to keep this around 55% cross weight and kind of go for there. We're also going to go ahead and go to max stiffness on the shocks. Hopefully that will keep the truck from for one, that helps with the aero, keeps the body from rolling, stuff like that, which causes drag. So that's one thing you can do. We'll also talk about how you can stagger these to help it roll through the corner a little bit better. So we'll get to that momentarily. Let's get our ride heights back in order. So we need to bring the right side down, but we don't want to get our cross weight too out of control. So one thing you can do is actually go down on these evenly. We'll go 2 on the front, down 2 on the rear. We're going to take these down to about 5.5 on the front, 6.5 on the rear. Try and get to that. So again, clicking on both sides, it's increased our cross weight a little bit. That's because this is such a much larger spring than this one up here. So we'll go 2, 1, 2, 1. Actually, oh, are we raising this? Nope, we're still lowering it. We're throwing that off. Okay, so we got some work to do to get the cross weights, but that's getting close. We're to 4.9. Let's lower the rear, try to get this more in line, then we'll raise this side back up. So you want to do a side at a time as evenly as possible, because that is what will keep the cross weight fairly the same. I think we got a little bit off because of the spring disparity between a 300 right front and 1400 uh, left rear. Gonna bring the front of the truck back up. Drop the right side. We want to build side to side rake as well as front to back. The side to side rake is to help deal with the banking conditions. So typically you want about a 5.5 here and a 4.8 here. And our cross weight fairly the same. Okay, then truck arm preload, I typically keep it right here. Close to 0 as possible, really is what I go with. Let's see. Back stiffness. One thing, so I think in previous videos I've said keep this at max, but as much speed as you have built in, through 1 and 2. And the banking, I found with the -7, it actually builds up more heat on the right side tires, and if you get up above about 300 degrees, you really start to lose grip, and that's when you're sliding in the wall. So we're gonna actually keep these about -3 each for now. We're gonna go about caster. Again, this is about making the car go straight. So the more degrees of caster in, the more it has a propensity to push it forward. The bigger the split, the more turn in you have. You don't have as much degree of radius and turn as you do at most 1.5 mile tracks or close to that. So we're actually going to build a little bit more split in our caster than we normally do. Go about 2 degrees between left. That's going to really help it turn through the corner. Other thing, we're going to go back to our 3 degrees of camber. That's kind of our standard. Again, we're going to be trying to keep this number and this number within 10 degrees. And we're going to go ahead and max out our camber on the left because it really doesn't have too much of an effect. All right, we're going to leave the track bars the same, but we can make an adjustment on that here a little bit. Let's go out, run. Oh, let's get that back to 5/16. Right, I think that is pretty solid. Let's go run uh 5 laps and kind of see how it compares to what we did have. Kind of go from there. A couple things to point out. So typically, the order you want to go, make sure you have your steering ratios, offsets, tape. I went over this in the previous video, so I'll just kind of gloss over it quickly. It's kind of why I went fast. If it's your first time through the vid, definitely check out our North Wilkesboro video that kind of went more lengthier into detail, as well as the uh let's see, where'd we go, Kansas video that had a lot more detail as far as the stuff. I've kind of gone quickly through this stuff, so definitely double back and take a look at those videos. I go in more depth as far as reasons why I'm doing certain things. So let's see, where that changed our ride heights because of our camber, so we need to lower front of the truck back down. You know what? One thing I forgot to do, we need to fix this spring deflection. We want to keep these close to 4.4, 4.5 on both sides. That's going to be the rate at which our springs bind in the front. Right now, 4.92, 4.23. We're going to be rolling over and actually dragging the right front likely because we have too much length. So, or too much distance between where the spring will actually bind at. So let's go ahead. We are going to raise our cross weight to about 55%. Do that, go down on the right heights on the left front, up on the right front, up on the right rear, down on the left rear. We're already up to 53%. Again, we're going to do this a few times. Get that number to about 55%. We'll probably have to do some playing with ride heights to get it back where we want. Okay, one thing with raising the cross weight, that will reduce how much camber we can run in the rear. So our max now is 1.8. Just gonna go and see what we need to do to get that back to 6/32. So one more click of right rear track bar. All right, think that should be good. It's a good lesson that when you change stuff, it does affect other parts of the garage. So especially when it pertains to items that are more dynamic, cambers, ride heights, things of that nature. So when you make one adjustment, you have to make four. All right, let's get out here and run some laps. We're definitely firing off a lot quicker than the open set originally ran at, so that's a good start. Already put down a 28.7. It feels pretty tight through entry center of 1 and 2. So I think we'll need to make a track bar adjustment to kind of get that more in line. But honestly, that's not necessarily a bad thing. What I found is this track tends to build loose. So, all right, there's a 4.67. So already in good shape. All right, I think that was 5. We'll do one more as a just in case. A pretty solid first set of laps, I would say. I did feel it was a little tight. All right, again, when you come to a stop, make sure not to lock it up or flat spot the tires or anything like that. So really that felt very solid. Again, we're not using any type of telemetry or anything like that, so can't really optimize the ride heights, but that's something you want to get into. Definitely check out some of the Motec resources on the Discord. We have links to some websites and stuff like that that offer, whoa, 24. Definitely not that fast. I have a copy of the spreadsheet now on the Discord, so you can go in and make your own copy, save it for yourself. There we go. So yeah, increased about 3/10 of a second or 3 seconds over in 5 laps over the open setup. So quite a bit faster right there. We're gonna go ahead and record our tire data. So as we can see, we take a look at this, still a little bit tight. Our pressure builds up are much more on the right front than the right rear. I'm gonna go ahead and put a half pound in the right rear. That'll help loosen it up. Temperature wise, it's got a bit more, much more buildup in the right front as far as temperatures too. So again, we are building tight. We're gonna want to loosen it up a little bit. Like I said, through center, it felt like it was much tighter. So some things that we can do on the track bar end. What I like to do is try to keep this within 6 30 seconds of rear toe. Your track bar changes will affect this. Felt like we were fine. Maybe could go raise one click in the right rear, loosen it up out of the corner, and then we can go ahead and we're gonna go ahead and drop this and put it at position as low as it can go, but still maintain 6 30 seconds of rear toe. So it looks like we got to keep it at least a half inch on both sides. So this will really loosen it up through entry and center. Um, we'll kind of see how it goes. That might be too big of a swing. Typically, you want to lower these evenly. This just basically really raised the rear roll center. Um, your average of these two numbers is basically your rear roll center on the rear axle. So, by really dropping that left rear, that raises that immensely from the 6.75, 9.25 that we had it at previously. So, let's make this adjustments kind of small. Actually, we're gonna make talk about some shock stuff. So right now I have maximum stiffness on the shocks. This is got some high speed corners, a lot of downforce needed. So that's why we're maximum stiffness here. But one thing we can do to make it roll through the center a little bit better is to add some asymmetry in your shock. So on the front bumps, if you have the left front or the left side bump stiffness, lower than the right side, and then on the rebounds do the opposite. That helps it roll through the corner a little bit better. One thing though I have noticed is it can add heat to the right rear with the rebound lower. That means it's resting on that right rear a little bit. The weight is a little bit more over here dynamically, so that can cause it to burn off. So just be careful with that. And I think I got that off of some iRacing wiki page regarding the shock. So I think that's on the Discord. If not, I will post that link there. So it's an interesting kind of overview. They have explanations of other components and stuff like that as well. But I thought at least with their shock little thing, that was very interesting. Already much looser. I had to kind of play with the wheel just on the outlap. So let's kind of see how this. Oh yeah, we got a little too loose there. Might have to drop that track bar just a bit to compensate. See how it is through 3 and 4. Yeah, we're just way too loose now. So we drop the left rear track bar way too much. Let's go ahead and wreck the truck there. Responsible. All right, we're gonna go 2 clicks up on both sides. Try to start tightening this thing up. That feels much better. Maybe a little too loose for 1 and 2. But loose early is not necessarily a bad thing. Especially here, this track definitely tends to tighten up, and what you'll find is people driving it into the wall. Yeah, actually, if you can manage it the first couple laps, that's a very fast lap. A little aggressive there. Let's see, I think that was 5 laps already. Yeah, already we've built in a faster hot lap there. Hey, 23 laps. Put up a decent setup. Hey, Matt. Take a look. Yeah, already temps are much more even. Still maybe a little bit on the tight side, but that's not a bad thing. Our right side buildups were actually a lot lower. Pressures, those are good numbers. But yeah, I think that is all good stuff right there. We're going to call that our public set. Now let's talk about some adjustments that could be made. If you find this as being too loose, you can go ahead and go down on the track bars. I would do it 1 click at a time. Keep it even on both sides. I think that's split. Otherwise, if you just go, you'll throw off those toes. So up and down 1 click at a time. If you think it's too tight, you can loosen it up by taking 50 pounds out of the left rear. Just make sure to go back up on your spring perch to get that ride height back to what it was. But overall, I think that's a pretty good setup to start out with. Definitely play with some things. If you got an oval matrix or something like that, get it to more your style. Uh, check out that article on the shocks. Play with that a little bit to get it where you want it. But Yeah, I think that is a decent setup for you. Again, if you like what you see here, make sure to like and subscribe here at YouTube. We also have a Twitch channel with live events, league racing, my stream, stuff like that at twitch.tv slash eSpeedRCNG for racing. If you are interested in joining the Discord, there's links in the show notes. So come hang out. We'll have this setup posted here. It's a good league community. We have a lot of fun and all that stuff. We got some uh actually some series we're gonna announce tonight. So excited about that. Uh gonna be happening very soon. Um here is all the info. If you want to go to our website, it's eSpeed has more information about the league as well as some more of our links and stuff like that. We're everywhere. Instagram, YouTube, all that, or YouTube, of course, you're here. I'm recording this, guys. I need to go get breakfast and coffee, so we will call it a show there. Have a good night. Hey,